what I'm going to do right now is toss it over to one of our co-chairs. Graham, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, great, my friend. And obviously, we thanked all of those incredible volunteers. But again, we thank you very much for what you've done for David and the America's Future Series and jumping on board and being one of our co-chairs and helping put this all together today. So well done, my friend. Go look in the mirror. Give him a smile to that guy that's looking back at you because he's making it happen today, and we're most proud of you. So it's all yours. Take it away.
Well, I'm pleased to introduce our feature speaker, which is Eric Yuan, the founder and the CEO. The video is short that we pre-recorded on Friday, and we actually have another video with additional questions that we'll be putting out on social media and on the website. But there's not much explanation necessary. You all have gone through COVID together with us, and everyone has been relying on Zoom as the primary technology for virtual schooling and work. And so this is really of the moment and important to hear what he's been through as an entrepreneur and how the company's grown. And take it away. Hello, everybody. This is Graham Plaster, co-host of the America's Future Series Joint Military Pitch Day on October 26th. And I'm very pleased and honored to be here with Eric Yuan, the founder of Zoom, today as our keynote speaker. We're pre-recording this message just a couple days before the event to work around tight schedules. But Eric founded Zoom in 2011 to deliver happiness and bring teams together in a frictionless video environment. And as most of you know, Zoom's video-first unified communications platform continues to dramatically transform the way leading global enterprises communicate. Under Eric's leadership, Zoom has been one of the highest performing tech IPOs of 2019. Prior to founding Zoom, Eric was corporate vice president of engineering at Cisco, where he was responsible for Cisco's collaboration software development. Eric was one of the founding engineers and vice presidents of engineering at WebEx. And between 97 and 2011, he grew his team from 10 engineers to more than 800 worldwide and contributed to revenue growth from 0 to more than $800 million. Eric has been named one of the most powerful people in enterprise tech by Business Insider. And in 2018, he was named the #1 CEO of a large US company by Glassdoor and EY Entrepreneur of the Year in Northern California in the software category. In 2019, he was added to the Bloomberg 50 as a leader who changed the game in global business. He's named the inventor on 11 issues and 20 pending patents in real-time collaboration. So very honored to have you here, Eric. And we have a couple questions to go through. I'm sure that our attendees will be really interested to hear your perspective. So thank you so much for being here.
Graham, thank you for having me. I truly appreciate it.
Yeah. So as you know, our event is focused on companies that are pitching their solutions to government, for national security, for critical infrastructure. And they're in the position that you were in a while back when you started your company. They're trying to raise capital or land new clients. So I think this audience would love to know how and why you started Zoom.
Yeah, so as you mentioned earlier, so I was in this real-time collaboration business for a long time, since 1997. So it was back to the year 2010, the year before I left. So every morning, I can tell you, I did not want to go to office. I was not happy. So the reason why every time when I was in the office, when I talked with the WebEx customer, I did not see a single happy customer. I felt very embarrassed. And 1 year later, I decided I got to leave to build a new solution. And Cisco is a great company, but Cisco was unwilling to change back then for building up a new solution. So finally, I say, yeah, I cannot live with that anymore. I had to build a new solution to deliver happiness back to those customers.
So back in 2011, you had this idea and you started to pitch investors. How many times did you hear investors say no before you got a yes?
So very soon I realized it's better for me don't pitch to investor anymore because everyone told me no. So I feel like a waste of my time. And I stopped after they all said no to me. And finally I got some angel investment from some of my friends. No VCs wanted to fund at that time. So many times I got a decline.
Yeah. What makes a good name for a company? Why'd you call it Zoom?
Oh, that's the long story. But anyway, long story short, 2 weeks before I launched the Zoom service, I still did not have a good name. So it took me 6 months, completely failed, disaster. I called one of my friends. His name is Jim Shaman. He gave me 4 names. Over the weekend, I picked up Zoom. That's how we got it.
Okay. So, but what do you think makes the name Zoom work so well for you guys, and why'd you pick it?
I think among those 4 names, for sure, Zoom is much better because
Yeah.
ultimately, I think name gotta be catchy,
Yeah.
and like Google, Uber, right? And this great name. Zoom also is very 4 or 5 characters, right? Zoom, easy to pronounce, catchy. I think it's better than some like a very weird names.
Yeah. Okay. Fast forward to today. In the last several months with COVID, Zoom has become a household name. It's being used by teachers, doctors, business leaders, yoga instructors, grandparents, and students. But what are some of the proudest moments in these last couple months that you have had in the company?
Yeah, being an entrepreneur, right? We all had a dream, right? And however, the dream could be big, could be small. Normally, you start from one area. When we started, we focused on enterprise or business customers. We never thought about that, like a K-12 schools, the kids, they might be using Zoom. And when my daughter, first day when her school, when they decided to use Zoom for online classes, when she asked the question that how to raise hand during the Zoom class, at that time I feel very proud. It's meaning Zoom can help those K to 12 kids, right, to learn online. I just feel very proud of that moment.
Why do you think so many people are using Zoom over other options?
I think there are many reasons. I think for sure timing, because now really need a solution because the solution is very easy to use. I would say frictionless experience and the quality is good. I just more like hard work, timing, and also the product, and the quality and easy to use.
Yeah, can you tell me a little bit more about what you mean by frictionless?
See, like when it comes to video conferencing, and you see you send me a link to join a meeting. If I needed to click multiple times, 3 or 4 clicks, it download a big client. Finally, I still do not know how to turn on my video, how to make my microphone speakerphone work, my talk. I do not know, maybe the audio is choppy. That's just one experience like that. You are not going to use that second time, right? That's a part of the overall frictionless experience. Yeah.
Yeah. During Zoom's rise in popularity, you've faced some challenges related to security and privacy. Can you give us a little bit of a sense as to what Zoom is doing and has done since the spring in this area?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned earlier, Zoom was built to serve for enterprise or business customers. The way it works is that we have all kinds of security features. However, normally when you work together with a lot of enterprise, or government customers, you work together with the IT team, to decide which feature to disable, enable, and then have a official, obviously, I call that onboarding process, right? Before you give to your employees. But during this pandemic crisis, there are so many first-time users, consumers, including K-12 schools. The biggest mistake I made is I did not realize quite often they do not have IT team, right? So I think not only do we play the role of serving them with a service, but also we should play a role of IT.
Mm.
We should enforce some privacy security feature like password, like a waiting room, like remove the meeting ID from the user interface in case you share it to the social media. I think a lot of things like that, right? We have to make a change. That's why we took a step back and we put all the new feature development on hold for 90 days and
Mm.
hired a lot of security researchers to really understand what had happened, and also had a new CISO and the new head of a bug bounty program, third party penetration testing, source code review. We do a lot of things. Also, we keep everything open and transparent. When it comes to security, not only do you focus on that, fix that, make it a part of a company DNA, but also you got to keep everything open, transparent. Like we had a weekly security privacy webinar. to share everything to our user community. I think that's what we did. I think, again, this is an ongoing effort. Privacy and security is already part of our company's DNA now.
Hmm. So yeah, and you might have already touched on it, but has there been anything else new related to security and privacy since that time that Zoom has done?
Yes, absolutely. So like, for sure, we improved our bug bounty program. I had a new head of a bug bounty program, is very, very experienced. And also we acquired a company, a New York-based company, and the K-base, they are the expert on end-to-end encryption. We're going to announce very, very soon, actually this weekend. I think we got to be open-minded, right? So not only do we build a solution, but also what we can do, right? To kind of acquire a company, acquire a technology to further improve our overall privacy and security experience.
So I understand that you have a specialized product for the U.S. government called Zoom Government. Can you explain to our audience who has a lot of government connections a little bit about Zoom for Government?
Yeah, so when it comes to, I think, the building the software or service, I think normally it's better to split your commercial cloud and also government cloud. The government is very different. Like in our case, our government cloud, we use the Amazon AWS, the cloud, government cloud, and also the two Equinix cloud. And the data center is only US based. There's no, federation connection, interoperability with any of our other data centers in other countries. And also our DevOps team must be US only person. And also we will get the FedRAMP certificate, right? Which for now is FedRAMP Impact in level 2. I will plan to to be the level 4. It's very different, right? I think privacy security is extremely important, right? And also goes through a different audited as well. I think that's we treated that totally separately compared to our commercial cloud.
So once this pandemic is behind us and we go back to normal, if that ever happens, what does the future look like for Zoom?
I think, first of all, I think the new normal will be like, I do not think anyone, including Zoom, will send all of our employees back to office as before. It's very likely it will be the hybrid. So meaning 3 days at home, 2 days in the office. Having said that, I think the tools like Zoom will stay. Not only for business communication, but also even for we launched a service called On Zoom. We give knowledge workers a platform, right? They can host the event, they can make a living, more like a Uber, right? You have a car, you have time, you can become Uber driver. Now you have greater technology or knowledge about the security, about maybe cooking or yoga, you can be a on Zoom host, right? And that's the product platform. I think those kind of video centric and experience will stay.
Yeah, I think so. Before we close out, what advice do you have for this group, for entrepreneurs trying to get started, maybe looking at with a big dream to become big, not sure what to do next? How would you inspire them?
I think if you have a dream, I can start as early as possible. Looking back, I think a number one mistake I made is I started too late. I live in Silicon Valley. It's a worldwide, innovation center. When I started, I was already 41 years old, right? The energy level, a lot of things. I think start as early as possible because you will realize, wow, that's very exciting. You have a dream, that's a long journey every day. And even if you're facing all kinds of challenges, but you are going to learn a lot, especially in 20 or 30 years. When you look back, you are not going to regret. I did something and working together with the team, we built something, we feel proud. I think that's the most exciting thing, I think.
Yeah. Wow. What kept you going kind of in your challenging times of building Zoom?
I think, first of all, I have a passion, to build a best frictionless, the collaboration, video collaboration experience. So I really enjoy that. If you ask me, if I do not work on this, I have no idea what else I should do. So that's my passion, right? That's really enjoy that. I even do not think that's work. I think life is work, work is life. I truly enjoy that. That's why every morning when I wake up, I fully in charge. because it really motivated myself to build a better solution to help make the world a better place.
Well, that's the end of all of our questions. I wish we could keep on talking longer because I think there's a lot I could continue to learn from you, and a lot of the attendees would love to learn from you. But we're going to have an open Q&A session on the day of the event with one of your reps to get into Zoom Gov. So we're excited to encourage people to look into that. And I want to thank you for your time, making yourself available for this event to inspire entrepreneurs and to explain some of the technology and the vision behind Zoom. So thank you again so much for being a part of this event.
Graham, thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Welcome back to our studios here in Dallas, Texas. Scott Murray, along with David. Are you ready?
Yes.
To move forward?
Yes, sir.
David Hamilton, the founder of the America's Future Series, alongside. And that was great stuff, Graham. We really enjoyed that. I always like to, I guess as a former newsman, it's part of my DNA, but I always wonder after somebody spends a long time with someone like Eric Yuan, who's the as we said, the founder and CEO of Zoom, what you learn from somebody like that. What is the one thing that you take away, or what is the one thing that fascinated you most about the interview that you just, that we just had a chance to be a part of? What was the one thing that you go, anything come to mind?
The biggest achievement that he talked about was the moment when, during COVID, he saw his daughter using Zoom for her class, her virtual classroom. And that was kind of an emotional moment for him, where all of the innovation and hard work actually had a big impact in a personal way on him and other families. And I think that's a really great glimpse into who he is as a leader. Yeah,
I can certainly understand that. That would be when it's coming home and it's a part of the family. That's very special. That's very interesting. Well, we really appreciate that. Was we were all sitting here in the studio watching that as you were interviewing him. That was most fascinating to see, as we've all been a part of Zoom in this pandemic world. It's really something to listen to the two of you. So thank you. And I know you've got, as you mentioned at the end, Matt Mandrgoc. Is that how you pronounce his name? Is that the Zoom government expert that we're going to hear from shortly? Is that right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Well, we'll just send it back to you then, and go ahead and toss it to the video whenever you're ready, and we'll be a part of that as well. Thank you again, Graham, for all you're continuing to do.
Sure.
Hello, gentlemen. So, Graham, I think we've got Matt here. If you guys want to take it away.
Morning.
Morning, Matt. Graham, I think you're on mute.
Yeah.
All right, we're ready for you guys to visit.
All right. Hey, Matt, so we are now opening the floor for anyone who wants to ask you questions about Zoom government. So before we take any questions in chat or by video, maybe you could just give us a quick overview of what Zoom government does.
Great. Thanks, Graham. Thanks for having us here. And I think Eric's always inspirational to listen to and always tough to go behind when you're answering questions. But again, my name is Matt Mandrgoc. I'm the head of the U.S. federal team for Zoom. A little bit about, I'll take about 60 seconds to give you a quick rundown. So Zoom's, Zoom for Government communication collaboration platform has been authorized at the impact level 2, moderate level for FedRAMP since early 2019. And it supports webinars, web meetings, Zoom rooms, and as of spring of 2020, we now have Zoom Phone, all at the impact level 2, moderate level. As Eric kind of mentioned in his session, everything resides in AWS Govt or 2 co-located Equinix data centers. It's managed by US-based, US persons only, and all communication and collaboration initiated in the Zoom for Government platform resides solely in these US data centers. And furthering our commitment to the government, we are actually moving to an impact level 4 uplift to support CUI and FOUO conversations. This is a huge move for us as a company, showing our commitment in what we're doing. As Eric mentioned, 2 platforms. We see not only this happening within the government, but is across many of our defense contractors and subcontractors who do business with the government. So hopefully, again, that little update gives you some background on what our platform is about.
Yeah, thanks for that overview. So we have over 100 people on the line right now. So if any of you have any questions about Zoom government, now's the time to drop them in chat. I think before, as we're letting those come in and populate, one of the questions I typically face is from the government side for agencies and organizations that don't have a Zoom government account. When we host an event like this, there are people that say, hey, I can't get into Zoom from my government computer. And that's a real challenge. Where do you see things going from here in that area?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of, great question, Graham. So a lot of these situations that occur where someone may not want to have be on a commercial version versus our Zoom for Government platform. We've seen a lot of the communication organizations like yours and other events have started hosting those events specifically for government events on the Zoom for Government platform. We support up to 50,000 people on a webinar event. We did for CDC, we did the daily pandemic updates via the Zoom for Government platform. So as we go through that, you commercial. So the good news is wherever you initiate the conversation, if it's a Zoom for Government initiated meeting, it resides in the US. So a commercial version can join that. Different agencies do have different rules in how they apply that and the security. But as we walk through them with them at different levels, many of them focus on the Zoom for Government platform versus just the Zoom commercial, just for the preferences and make sure they follow the FedRAMP protocols.
One of the questions is from Eleanor Mitch. Eleanor says, how can a startup get Zoom government?
So in there, we have a platform that we use for Zoom for Government. So if you're a US federal organization, state and local government organization, a federal system integrator, or a organization that does business with any of these governments, you're eligible for Zoom for Government platform. Zoom for Government platform is just not for anybody to use. It's for those who do business with the government. Both, or if you look at both the commercial and the Zoom for Government platform, both are secure. The difference is in Zoom for Government, we have to go through additional security protocols to meet these different levels within the FedRAMP platform.
Max Hamilton says, can you do a little bit more of a deep dive on the security and encryption that's provided for Zoom Gov?
Yeah, so again, we follow everything that we're doing right now on the uplift. The uplift for IL4 is going to be happening late this fall. As Eric kind of mentioned, end-to-end encryption is something that we're, security and privacy are very important to us. I can't really go into, I can more than happy to get some details around that, as we just announced the end-to-end encryption. We did acquire a company called, as Eric mentioned, Keybase out of New York, which is helping us world-class for end-to-end encryption and helping us put that platform together. That platform for end-to-end encryption is not only going to be on the commercial side, but our Zoom for Government platform. But I'd be more than happy if Graham, we get the individual's information, I'd be more than happy to follow up.
And can you talk a little bit about where Zoom as a platform is headed? Eric kind of teased it a little bit.
Yeah, so you look at there's many main factors that kind of when you talk about the platform. So you look at some of the major issues that we're seeing with this pandemic sort of highlighted. Users having challenges, having to go from working from at a work office to a home office, integrated systems that don't work together, having to have multiple types of systems tie into. And the Zoom for Government platform, or even Zoom platform for general, we have everything tied in, or everything is built into our platform. So as you go and you do webinars, you don't have to have an outside organization do the webinar. You can use it in that platform. You can use it for web meetings. You can use it for Zoom room connections. And what you leverage there is also, you may have hardware or other things that are you're already involved with. In those, you can actually leverage many of those same devices. So you don't have to go out and buy new things if you don't need to. You can leverage that. And then the Zoom phone. This is the real key, because you start to talk about what is the future going to look like, a hybrid environment versus all in office or all at home. Have that flexibility. We saw offices in the government have to move thousands of people in a day at home, and it caused issues with security, just computer security, all the other things. Moving phones or having headsets, and it's amazing to hear some of the stories and how people got through this. But as we're moving towards this right now, in the Zoom phone, it allows the organization to have one platform to actually have this. So whether you're working in the office or you go home, in a day, whether it's a pandemic or whether anything else, in that platform it grows. The second component I'll mention is around capabilities. You see a lot of times when people have FedRAMP versions, they have to wait sometimes 6, 12, 24 months before those same capabilities get put in from a commercial version into the FedRAMP versions. We do this in 2 to 4 weeks. We have a world-class head of technology compliance who's worked with the FedRAMP office for many, many years. And we go in there and all those commercial feature sets. So many of these capabilities that we brought in for security, breakout rooms, different security levels that have there, all pulled right into there. That 2 to 4 weeks, we make sure we follow all the FedRAMP protocols, but we try to bring those capabilities to people and features as fast as possible so they have the capability to run secure and private meetings.
Bill Peterson is asking, does Zoom for Government have any constraints for communicating internationally?
No, so if, let's say, for instance, a good example is if, let's say, you have a person who's sitting in Germany, and that person is calling into a Zoom for Government meeting that's initiated, it transverses back to that US data center. So there's no challenges across there. One thing is that no other government, only US government, US state governments and local governments can utilize this. This is not purchased or utilized by anybody outside of the United States CONUS locations.
Is Zoom Government currently available on SIPR?
No. We are moving up to an IL4 impact level 4 uplift in late fall. So we're 30 plus days out getting this all finalized with our DoD sponsor. The next question most people ask us are you guys going to go IL5, IL6? We are taking a lot of input from not only from our DoD customers, some other customers in the IC space, as well as our defense contractors, and we're taking all these things into consideration. To talk about, I can tell you, federal is the government is one of the major priorities for Eric and the company. When we went through the process of getting IL4, it took less than 15 minutes to get that approved. So they know this is a huge environment for us. We know coming into this, many of the things I've had worked with in the past, being able to drive these security levels into what we're doing and integrated has really allowed us to take these customers who, quite honestly, Graham, were probably apprehensive at first, but we're seeing tremendous growth across there as we spend a lot of time. You can go onto the FedRAMP Marketplace website. You can see who's given authorizations to operate already, but that's not everybody. Many of them have their own internal authorizations. And as we go into IL4, as soon as our IL4 is finalized, more names will go onto that list. And we always encourage people and our government customers to put it on there. So sometimes there's mixed confusion on people say, well, they can't use Zoom. Yeah, they can. Zoom for Government. Here's the platform. Here's how we time in.
Is the new Zoom platform or Zoom Government as an entity, are there going to be ways that small business partners or technology partners could integrate or participate as either contracting partners or technology partners?
Yeah, so we work along, so integrators who may be out there. So we have a very strong and robust channel component that we do across our Zoom for Government platform. So those who may be integrated, already have AV, maybe working already with an agency or one of their groups, we're more than happy to have conversations around with anybody who wants to do that kind of stuff. There's no challenges whatsoever.
Okay. Any other questions? I think we have a few basic questions about, FedRAMP certification and things like that. If you want to talk to that process for how that's been for you guys.
Yeah, it's actually, as I mentioned, John Keese, who's our head of technology compliance, world class, and he was able to get this process started as early as 2018. It takes obviously a long time for you to get that in there, but early 2019 is when we went through IL2, again, covering web meetings, webinars, and Zoom rooms and conference connections. And then we had Zoom Phone coming in spring of 2020. So as we move to IL4, this complete uplift that takes place, the great thing is for all of these customers who made the investment already in Zoom for Government, automatically move to impact level 4 on that. And that includes that impact level 4 ties into web meetings, webinars, conference connections, and Zoom phone. So that CUI, so classified, control and classified information, where it's, hey, it's unclassified, but it's not for public consumption, FOU or for official use only. This really takes it to the next level, because if you look in that collaboration environment, there's not very many who have actually taken this next level up in commitment to the government and helping our customers build across. I think the biggest thing too is also scale. It's simple to use. People have ingrained this probably in much of their lives with their families. We see this a lot happening. Users are asking for it. It's scalable. You have the innovation, the components of all those features I mentioned earlier that can integrate right into the platform. It's extensible. So one of the things I think probably to the one gentleman's point, we have a number of hundreds of API application integrations into our commercial. We have less than our FedRAMP version right now. We have Okta, Slack, Box. We're actually growing that piece because we're starting to see that there's things like Salesforce and other things out there that government customers have. They want to integrate this. We're doing this in healthcare right now, where with Epic, now all of a sudden patients can go in and have quick automatic automation around this thing. Zoom is built into their electronic medical record. We're looking at all the different areas that we can actually do the same thing as Zoom for government.
Yeah, I think from the government perspective, that makes a lot of sense to actually have an agency purchase a whole marketplace of apps that plug in together and work together, rather than just do a contract with one company and a contract with another company and try to figure out after the fact how to make everything integrate.
Yep, and if they know those applications are there, what we're seeing is people who are making the investments now are reaching out and say, hey, what do you guys think about doing this type of integration? Great, we're going to get through IL4 and have that finalized. And then once that happens, we'll look at that as the next level to say, what are the next investments as Zoom for government we're going to make? Obviously, end-to-end encryption is right around the corner. The beta just came out, so there's more to come on that piece, and we look forward to making announcements. As we have the full announcement for IL4, you're going to see a lot of press around this information. And then as we build on top of our secure platform already, you're going to see more and more around end-to-end encryption and many of the capabilities and features that we're allowing our government and contractor and system integrators the ability to do in the Zoom for Government platform.
And just so everyone understands, because I've heard from one person who got to sit in on the new Zoom platform, it sounds like there's going to be a lot of new features available. And when I talked to Eric, he even hinted that the very distant future would include things like getting to smell someone else's coffee on the other side of the screen. I mean, he was really thinking big with it. So the new platform, as it comes out, are all the features going to be available to Zoom Government?
Yeah, many of the features will be. So as I kind of mentioned earlier, we're usually about 2 to 4 weeks behind, from the commercial version of features and such going over to Zoom for Government. Am I going to say every single one? It's hard to tell because I'm not sure if we can have a Zoom for Government smell coffee yet. But I'll have to bring that one up with Eric next we talk later today. But I think the biggest piece here for us is our commitment to the innovative component and speed that Eric, his passion around this, and one of the main reasons I came here, was just the fact that they want to make a big difference in this and how you take a platform. And what we've seen is the customers are really, in this pandemic, as I mentioned, are really transforming how they do business. They're looking at, I can't just have this system over here and that system over here, and none of these talk together, and I got to pay money for this over here. It's trying to find that innovation. User experience is the big thing, because the simplicity of what we do and why people are using Zoom is they use it in their personal lives, and they also now want to use it in their work lives. So that simplicity takes pressure off of your support staff, the IT team, because they're not getting inundated with questions because people are working from home. So now, and then it's also allowing them to take a half a step back and go, you know what do we want to do going into the future here? How do we want to do this? And the government focusing on a cloud-first platform really is an opportunity. And again, these conversations I'm having with many leaders across different parts of the government, they're looking at how do we take a step back here, transform our organization in a way that's fiscally responsible, but innovative at the same time, and creates a great, happy experience for our end users.
I love that emphasis over and over again on happiness. It's really, it's really special about a technology company to focus on user experience and delighting the end user. And I hear it over and over again about Zoom. So that wraps up our Q&A time with you, Matt. Thanks for your availability. For people that want to get in touch with you or Zoom Gov, what's the best way?
Let me go ahead and my probably email is best. Do you want me to go ahead and chat that, or?
Yeah, you can drop it in chat if you're willing. And then we'll hand it back over to Scott Murray.
Go ahead and bring it to me. Hello, gentlemen. This is Dave Hamilton. Matt, I just wanted to say thank you. And I was really struck by one comment that you made, which is about how quickly the government version is getting these enhancements. We're here talking about technology and innovation, et cetera, but ultimately this is a leadership issue that we're dealing with. You know, America has to have the will and the grit to change how we do business so that our warfighters aren't taking 18 months to get something in Afghanistan that they could get off the shelf here in the United States. So when I hear that organizations like yours are able to move that quickly and enable our government to have those kinds of features, et cetera, that quickly behind the commercial world, that's very heartening to me, because that's really what we're here about to talk about. We have to move at the speed of commerce, and we have to change our processes. So I'm very heartened to hear that you guys have found a process and an approach that enables our government to get what it needs as quickly as the civilian world's getting it. Well done.
Thank you.
Well, we're big fans. Wouldn't be doing this thing without you guys. Thank Eric again. I'm glad you guys got to come on here and talk a little bit about security issues, et cetera. I think it's really important that we be able to find a way to leverage this great platform that you've had, and that all of our security issues, et cetera, are alleviated, because this really has been a godsend in terms of our economy and keeping America going. And so we salute you and we appreciate your time today.
Thank you. We're humbled and honored to be a part of this and supporting our U.S. government.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So Scott, are we taking a little break now?
I think we are. That was great stuff.
That was
good.
fantastic.
Yeah, really, really enjoyed that. A lot of times when you get involved with something like this, you have no idea what to expect. You know who's going to be involved, but not sure what they might say or what. I just what direction they're going to go, and I just that was very, very fascinating.
Fascinating,
Yeah, it really was. We are going to take a break.
Okay.
Allow people wherever they might be in this great country that we all call home, that they can do this, they can do that, they can talk amongst themselves. But we'll get ready for what's upcoming, and just say thanks for being along. America's Future Series. This is our joint pitch day. That's right. And we're delighted that you've chosen to be a part of it. Scott Murray along with David Hamilton. So we'll be back with you very, very shortly. Some great stuff coming up, so don't you go away.